Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. So this time we'll be talking about Vedic age. So in this chapter we'll discuss about the origin of the Aryans, how they entered in India, and further we'll discuss about the early and the later Vedic period. Okay, so let's move on. So Vedic age. So it is assumed that the Aryans came to India around 1500 BC through Khyber Pass. Now this is the exact location. From the map also you can see that from Khyber Pass from Afghanistan they crossed these regions from Islamabad, Rawalpindi from Pakistan, and then they entered India. Okay, now this is a structure from where actually from the Hindu Kush mountain also they entered in India. Okay, so this is where you can see the existence of Aryans entering in India. Now, who are these people? So basically, these people were cattle herders. Okay, so they had large number of cattle. Okay, and they wandered in different locations, and the reasons for they were actually looking for grass and fodder for their animals. Okay, and since they entered in India, they are also known as Indo-Aryans. I hope this is clear. Now, these are again the different regions where different communities and civilizations they migrated. Now talking about these Aryans, so they were mainly a keeping people. So they were mainly in search of pasture. Pasture means which is required by animals for eating. Okay. Now, sources about from where we come to know. So, in Vedic culture, you have archaeological evidences, and Vedic literature also you will get the evidences. But talking about the Harappan culture, you only have archaeological evidences. There are inscriptions, but when talk about literature, so it was something which was never understood by humans. Now, Vedic culture. In Vedic culture, you will get. We are talking about here about Vedic people, so you will get the texts which are divided into two categories, that is early Vedic period and the later Vedic period. Now they name the region as Brahmavarta. Why? Because it, according to them, it means it was the land of God. So simple way to remember this, like Brahma is the name of the God. So in that way, remember about this place was known as Brahmavarta. Okay. And later they started moving towards the east and conquered territories like Ganga Yamuna plains. Okay. And then they started calling this area Aryavarta. It means the land of the Aryans. I hope this is clear till here. Moving on next. Now, what happened when they entered in India? They came in conflict with Dasyus. So they were the people who were really living in India. So what happened? They actually fought with these people, and since Aryans were superior, they made Dasyus their slaves. Okay, and they were admitted into the society as the Shudras. Okay, now, the first place where they settled was the Sapta Sindhu region. Now, what is the Sapta Sindhu? So, simple words. Sapta means seven. So, seven region over here it indicates the five rivers of Punjab, that is Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Bias, Satluj, and again two rivers additionally which are Indus and Saraswati. And the reference we get from Rig Veda. I hope this is clear. Now, sources. So, from where you get to know about these people? So, information of the Aryans you will mostly find from Vedic literature. Okay, now what is Vedic literature? So it includes four things. It includes Vedas, Upavedas, then your Purans, and fourth one is your epics. So great epics like Ramayana, Mahabharata are also the example. So Vedic literature includes four things: Vedas, Upavedas, epics, and Purans. Okay, what is Veda? So Veda in simple words we can understand it is the meaning of that is knowledge. Okay, so it is a storehouse of knowledge, and you can say it has multiple information and knowledge. So it has information about political, social, economic, cultural, and religious purpose of Aryans. Okay. Now these are written in Sanskrit language. Now if you talk about Veda, so sub parts of Vedas are a Rig Ved. So it is a set of hymns. Samaved. So Samaved it's a compilation of song taken from Rig Ved. So how to remember? So as for Samaved, as for songs. Then you have Yajur Ved. Yajur means yagna or doing some performing some ritual. So it is a comprising of sacrificial formula. And last is your Atharva Ved. So Atharva Ved is a collection of spell and magical charms. Okay. So let's recall again. So the literary source collectively known as Vedic literature. Vedic literature have four things. It includes Vedas, Upavedas, Purans, and epics. Okay, and the word Veda means knowledge, and it has information about political, economical, social, religious, and cultural life of Aryans. This is written in Sanskrit. So what are the four Vedas? So first is your Rig Veda, which has, it is a set of hymns. Then Samved, so as for Samved, as for songs. Again, Yajur Ved means performing sacrificial formulae, and Atharved is a collection of spells and magical charms. And next is about the Vedas. So this Vedas were oral traditions. Oral tradition means passed down from one generation to other generation. Now each Veda, it is having four subparts. So it is like Samhita, which is collection of mantra or hymns. Then Brahmanas mean prose and text containing details about Vedic hymns. Then you have Upanishads, which are philosophical commentaries on the Vedas. Then you have Aranyakas, so which are the guiding texts for hermit and students' life in the forest. Okay. Again in Upved, you will have four Upveds, which are Gandharva Veda, Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, and the Shilpa Veda. So your Gandharva Veda is mostly related to the art of music, then other Ayurveda it is related to the medicine, Dhanur like war tactics, and Shilpa Veda means art of architecture. So I hope this is clear. Next, if you talk about the Indo-European languages, you will see there are multiple languages which were spoken at that time. So there are 10 divisions of this language. So we'll just see roughly. So among this, Sanskrit is the oldest record of Indo-Aryan language. Apart from this, Hindi, Bengali, Sinhalese, and various other. Now again, Roman dialects are also some of the example like Avestan, the sacred language of the Zoroastrians, then Old Persian or Persian, which you call as Farsi, then Pashto, which is still in practice, then Kurshi, then Osketics. So this is about the Indo-European languages. Next is the sources. So from sources you have here different kinds of ware. So it is black ware and red ware, black slipped ware, painted grey ware, red ware, grey ware, and painted grey ware. Now it is found at different sites of Bhagwanpura, Daderi, Nagar, Katpatalan, Punjab, and Haryana. Okay, so these are the evidences which we get from the archaeological sources. Now talking about the period. Now this Vedic period is divided into two parts, that is early Vedic period and later Vedic period. Okay. Now talking about the family of the early Vedic. Now when you talk about the early Vedic period, so there was a culture of Graha or Kul. Okay. Now family consisted of all brothers, sisters, sons, daughters. Okay. And the relation were cordial among each other. Okay. It was a patriarchal society. Patriarchal means father was the head of the family. Talking about the later Vedic period, so again there was a joint family system which was further strengthened, and the birth of a son was welcome. So it means from later Vedic period you can assume that there were differences between a boy and a girl. Okay, and moving on further, talking about the position of woman. Now in the early Vedic period, you will see that women were of greater honor and authority. Okay, compared to the later Vedic period. So in the earlier Vedic period also, what you will see that women are enjoyed certain amount of freedom, like choosing their husband. Monogamy means, was the usual practice, means marrying of a man with only one woman. Now women controlled the household affairs, participated in sacrifices, domestic ceremonies, and feasts. Okay, probably there was no secularism of women and no restriction on their movement. Okay, now again there was a good practice of widow remarriage, and the marriageable age at this time was 16 to 17 years, and education of girls was also not neglected, it means it was promoted. Okay, some of the women also composed hymns and rose to the rank of seers such as Viswavara, Ghosa, and Apla. So women who were brilliant in delivering lectures on different knowledge of Vedas. So they were given some title like Vishwavara, Ghosa, and Apula. So they were having domestic participation in domestic ceremonies. They were participating in sacrifices. They had control at home. Monogamy was practiced. They were allowed to choose their husband. They were having greater respect and honor. And the marriageable age was 16 to 17 years. But it changed in the later period. So how it got deteriorated? So they were employed in work like dyeing, embroidery, and basket making, and here their earnings are however credited to their father or husband. Okay, some only of them were getting the higher education, which facilitated participation in philosophical discussion in the royal courts. So this was the position of the woman in the later Vedic period. Next is they had an ashram system. Now what was the assumption at that time, that people was tended to be living for around 100 years. So divided this 100 years into four stages of ashrama, like brahmacharya, It was the first where the people stayed with the guru in the Gurukul and they received what? Education in Gurukul. Next came the second was Grahastha. Grahastha means the person gets married and lead a family life. Third state was Vanaprastha, when he gave up his worldly love and went to the forest for meditation. The last one was Sannyasa. And Sannyasa means renounce the world and became ascetic. So these were the four stages of ashram. Next, about the religious belief. So religious condition in the early Vedic period, they worshipped god and goddesses. So you can see tentatively there are six names like Indra, the king of gods, then Agni, the god of fire, Surya, the sun god, Varun, the god of water, Vayu, the god of wind, and Usha, the goddess of dawn. And here, what was the culture of doing worshipping? So it was prayer was recited in the praise of open air. Then what changes became in the later period? So from here you can see the belief of uh, three gods came into existence, like Trinity. So Trinity means your Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the destroyer, preserver, and Shiva, the destroyer, became important. Here, the mode of religion and worship became more complex with rituals and sacrifices. Now, next is about the economic life. Now, see, these people were mostly cattle was considered as an important part of their livelihood, and cow was rewarded as one of the standard of value, and wealth and prosperity depend on the number of possession of cow. Okay, and other animals such as horses, sheep, goats, dogs, etc. were also domesticated. So here cow was having more importance. People used to have wars for cows. Now what happened apart from this? Apart from this, in big ways, it is mentioned that there were people who were artisans, weavers, leather workers, and potters. Okay, talking about the later Vedic period, so there was a great change seen in the field of agriculture, and there was improvement in quality and size of the plow, as well as use of manure. So it increased the agriculture production. Okay, again, new occupation are such as charioteers, hunters, shepherds, fishermen, jewelers, washermen, dyers. So new professions took place over here, like cooks, astrologers, musicians. Okay, so this was the value of the economic life of the people of the later Vedic period. And now we'll talk about the political life. Now, political means this system was divided in such a way that there was a gram or a village, and it had number of families that were connected by ties of kingship. So, in a village, if there are 50 to 100 families, so they were led by the king. Okay. Now, several villages comprised of Vis, or it was known as the district, and a group of Vis was known as Jana, and one was the head of that Jana or the tribe. Now, it is assumed that, or it is understood that the Rig Veda Aryans were divided into several tribes, and each tribes under the rule of a king or Aryan. So under different tribes there was king, and he was also known as the Rajan, and he led the tribe and ensured their protection. Okay, so there were no fixed taxes for the maintenance of the state. However, people obeyed and gave him voluntary gifts like Bali. Okay, now talking about in the later period, what happened? So here king performs sacrifice or yajna such as Vajapaya or Rajasuya or Ashwamedha. Now, Ashwamedha, if you remember, it is like king actually leaving the horse openly and a place till where the horse stopped. It was assumed that till that king will actually expand his kingdom. Okay, while Adhiraja, Raja, Samrat, Virat, these were some of the titles which was given on the best of Switzerland. Switzerland means a particular kingdom held by a person. Okay, now the king position was generally hereditary. It means from passing on to generation, and it was his duty, duty to uphold the law or dharma to punish the corrupt. I hope this is clear.